a bountiful, for the government as well as the individual as a whole, because the pandemic is in the sight of being at the end. We will commence our proceedings for the day, this wonderful Kathopanishad. Om Shri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimadananda Tirtha Bhagavat Padacharyobhyo Namo Namaha. Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Sthititolayan Niyati Prataya Jnana Prataya Vibhuda Sura Saukya Dukkha Sakkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Mati Prabhudan Vadan Nirasya Kritavan Bhuvidatvavadam Sarvesvaro Haririti Pratipata Kantam Mananda Tirtha Munivariham Namami Pujjaya Rahavendraya Satya Dharmarataya Cha Bhajatam Kalpavrakshaya Namatam Kamadenuve Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahaihi Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishvidavahaihi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome friends for this continuous Kathopanishad. We have seen up to a few of the mantras, beginning giving us the preamble as to what has happened, how the 7-year-old boy Nachiketa, with his enormous intellect as well as wisdom, how he was trying to get across to the purport of anything whatever has been done in this world, particularly his father's particular yajna, for which he was supposed to be doing the things as per the requirement, as per the exact, the order in which it should have been done, and how it was not being done, and how he felt, his father would be getting into the wrong results of the entire yajna. And based on which, when he tried to intervene and bring the wisdom to his father, on the other hand, his father didn't take notice of, he considered to me a boy. He doesn't have so much of an intellect to interfere with the works of the elders who are supposed to have known everything. Whereas we don't know anything. As that's what the Kathopanishad said. If you think you know, you don't know. If you think you don't know, then possibly you are trying to know and you will be knowing it. That is exactly what the Kathopanishad said. This is exactly he has brought about, and he brought it into them because he is innocent. He was fully involved. What it shows, he is totally into the present, mindful of what is he doing at the moment. When he is totally dedicating himself on to what his father is doing as a son, what is his duty to do, he is a putra. We said, who is putra? Putra is the one who does everything to prevent his parents to get into the hell. That is why it's called putra. That is one of the meanings. Putra has got so many meanings in Sanskrit. If you go about, doing it, putra has got, he comes out of the putra kameshti yajnam, because normally, even if we are born, we are all come out of some of the past good deeds of the parents, our own good deeds to have been born to those parents, all those things. Because it is a kameshti, putra kameshti yajnam in the sense, we have also done so many good deeds, and so our parents finally, Yasya kashtancha kashtancha samvetyam parasparaha, the Veda says, I think, as the flow of the divine energy goes through the world, two logs come together and finally come as a son and a parent, or the husband and wife, whatever relation it comes. And when it has to go, I think it goes off, because again, you are all rooted to the divine energy of the flood and the water that is going about. So we have to always see we are all rooted into the divine energy. We are not something different from that. But are we aware of that? To bring the awareness, we are rooted to a particular energy and a particular root to which we belong, through which we are getting the entire energy to live in this world and live in this and get the best out of the world and excel ourselves and work for the excellence of everyone. That is what the entire port of the entire meaning of it. But it has been given in the form of a story. His father was conducting Vishwajit Yajna, and he was not doing as it is. He was giving all the barren cows, which are a burden rather than a gift. And he got worked up, and when he asked his father, because if that is the case, you offer me, I also belong to you. I will go and do the service for someone. See, this is, I'm just reminded of one great occasion. I think, it came about in a different context. In Mahabharata, always, we know how they tried every trick in the world to prevent the war between the two factions, the Kuru as well as the Pandavas. They are all Kurus, but the Pandavas, they wanted to give in as much as possible, so that they wanted to, there should not be any war. Now, even if you give me 5 villages, that is good enough. At one point of time, Krishna, who is as an emissary, went to the Kauravas. He told Dhritarashtra in presence of Duryodhana, you don't bother about even 5 villages. The 5 small spots, where you can put your nail, even can you give that? So we may be wondering, why is he asking? A small, 5 nail space, how does it, is going to help and all? It is basically your mentality and how you are going to come into, you are going to work on that. It is not that what you are going is not, what you are doing is not essential. What is the intention behind that? What is the sincerity with which you are doing is essential. This is why Krishna asked that. So before he went to that, he was telling, his Pandavas, look, I am going to ask for this so that it will do. When everyone was telling, they were all agitated, and after all, Pandavas were really agitated. They were put into a lot of problems. They were asked to go for Ajnatavasa for 1 year, and they have been put into the sort of, the entire fort, which is made of arak, and they were to be burnt alive, because they came out of that. So many impediments were given. Despite that, they have kept their sort of, the moorings. They have not lost it. On one particular occasion, Krishna asked everyone, and what is that? And Arjuna was thinking, look, let's avoid the war. If it comes, we will have to fight it, because, but he was agitated, but I will have to fight with my own people. This is a preamble to his Arjuna Vishada Yoga in Bhagavad Gita when he comes. Because he was not really, none of the Pandavas wanted to have this thing to happen, to have a war. Finally, this Bhima is supposed to be a character who will immediately react to anything. That is how we have been presented in the TV serial Mahabharata as well as other things and all. Whereas the Bhima's character analysis and the Bhima's character and what type of a person he is, I think has not been brought out, as much as it should have been. Vrikodara is called Vrikodara. It's not brought about in very many scriptures, and even very many bhashyas also, they try to concentrate more on, because he did, and Arjuna was there, and Krishna was rather, giving the advice to him and all. When he was telling, when even they were all, even Yudhishthira was said, if this war is inevitable, we have to fight. We are Kshatriyas, born Kshatriyas, because that is our duty, we will have to fight. And let us see, despite the fact we don't want it, if you are forced into it. So they wanted to avoid war at any cost. When Bhima was asked what is opinion, normally, Bhima, he had already taken a vow, he will just take, Duryodhana into pieces and drink the blood, and break him into two and drink the blood. That's what is Duchasana, and Duryodhana, he will just, with his ties, he will break it and take the blood out of that and put it, give it to Draupadi. That's what he said. So when everyone, if you in this seeing this context, he would have said similar to that. He would have immediately been reacting, because not giving up anything. But the greatest words Bhima spoke on that particular occasion, Mahabharata, is absolutely startling. He has said, look, if I have to work in the house of Duryodhana as a menial, do all service to him, I will still prefer to do it instead of having so many of our Bharata, people who are staying, who are all there to lose their life in the war, which is between the two factions. I don't want them to lose their life. If required, I will go and work as a menial in his house for my life, my lifetime. Let this war not be there. This is the greatest thing I said. It has never been, brought out, into very many. It's not highlighted. It is there in Mahabharata. It's not highlighted because the Bhima is such a character, who wants to avoid at any cost the dharmic way. This is exactly Nachiketa is also trying to do. He was a young boy of 7 years. 7 years, would normally, it will be, he will be trying to have a tit for tat, even with his friends. It is that at age, that was the mentality. Like Bhima, when he gave such unexpected wisdom, similar thing it is happening here. You give it to me, I will go and work for him. You, whoever you are going to give me, I will serve them. Dasyamiti. Dvitiyam, Tritiyam. 3 times he asked, then he said, go to hell. Mrityu dadati, because I will give you to the death. That's what he said. It is exactly the same thing Bhima has said when he was going to negotiate with the Kurus to get something. And he said, because let us avoid all this unnecessary bloodshed. Just because we are fighting, so many people, innocent people are going to lose their life. What is the great service we are getting? And Bhima, let us assume, let us understand one thing. He is the one who never got agitated during the war. He lost his son Gadotkaja, and he also lost his grandson also. Nagushavan, he also lost them. But he said in the war, once you are into the war, it's not that all the other persons, all the enemies people will die and my people will not die. And it will be both ways. You have come into the world, you have come into the war. There is a dharma for that. So we will have to adhere to the dharma, go about it. It is exactly in this same context Nachiketa asked. Nachiketa asked, one is a filial concern, anxiety that his father should not get into. And it is the great exposition as Bhima has asked, because even I will go and serve as a menial. No one would have expected who have seen Mahabharata in very different versions. Bhima would have said these words. Finally, this has been highlighted in another great scripture called Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya of Sri Madhvacharya. Sri Madhvacharya has written an elegant, exquisite 5,500 verses, a monumental document called Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya. In the Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya, he has highlighted, what type of qualities of each of all the 5 Pandavas. So in that Bhima's qualities when he is trying to highlight, he has given. In fact, because even Madhvacharya is considered to be one of the avatar of Bhima in the earlier birth. And he has gone through the entire scriptures and the interpretations he has given like that. Here exactly this Nachiketa had a similar percept, similar understanding he wanted to do it. That is why last verse we said, so many people, for me there is no problem, I can go, if you are going to give it to me, Mrityu, let me go there, because I don't have any problem. Because he is, as we have said, philosophically he is fully prepared to get the highest knowledge. And cessation of the body is nothing for him. Cessation of the body is a change of form, we said. The same change of form is nothing but the cessation of the body. As we have changed our body from infant to youth and youth to middle age to old age to something else, we may be giving super senior, whatever be, that we will be going about, we will only be thinking about the past days, when we were too young, how we have been running around. You can't run around. Your machine is weak. All your nuts and bolts have gone where? You cannot be refitting the whole thing and all. You will have to accept what is there and all, try to go about it. That is exactly what should do it. But he has at the age of 7 years, he has accepted. Let me do. I think what is there, let me go and get the highest knowledge. That is what I should do. Though he is an introvert, he was totally enlightened in his mind. When he is going, that's why he says, last verse we have seen, बहुनामेमि प्रथमो बहुनामेमि मध्यमः किं स्विद् यमस्य कर्तव्यं यन्मयाद्य करिष्यति. Because Yama doesn't need my service. As Bhima said, and I will go and work as a menial in Duryodhana's house. He would be very happy. Look, this fellow told me, he will just break my thighs and drink the blood and all. He is coming and working for me. He may be having, the vicarious pressure of seeing, is supposed to be enemy, one of his cousins, and coming and working for him. But whereas for Yama doesn't need, he is a Dharma Raja. He is the Dharma he is a king of all the Dharmas in the world. He doesn't have anything to be sort of obtained. He doesn't have any desire at all. So he doesn't want to be something, to be of one who does anything, whatever his father says, with full sincerity. We also said the context. The yajna fire is still on. When the yajna fire is still on, as per our Vedic rituals, anything is there has to be offered. The only way you offer the Naivedyam, or because in Naivedyam in Puja we just spread the water around and we say, because that I think it goes to him. See, for that, because this God really takes, but he doesn't take, because he know you make all the whatever you want, whatever tasty you make it, and you just offer, the spreading of the water 3 times, circumambulating and offer it to him. You parishechanam and then you nivedinam. You will give it and take it, but he doesn't take it. This is exactly the question was asked to Chinmayananda. How is that you people are trying to sort of, take yourself in hypocrisy. You think, you are offering, but finally you are taking it. Then only Chinmayananda gave a very wonderful answer. See, when you are reading a book, you are reading, but then whatever knowledge you are capable of absorbing, you are absorbing. But the knowledge in the book is still there. It has not gone off. So when you are offering with the sincerity, that bhava is taken over. When the bhava is taken over means your raga, dvesha, everything is being removed. This is exactly Vivekananda said. Because when I didn't offer surrender, I didn't get anything. But finally, I didn't have any likes, dislikes. I didn't have any sort of anger, or I didn't repulse anyone and all. I didn't have anything. All those things I lost, but I didn't gain anything. That is what happens when you are giving with sincerity. All your, the wrong qualities which are making you as a bundle of life in this world is taking you out and taking you closer to the soul for which you are doing it. We will also come, here in one of the explanations, he says how, it happens, how you are getting closer to the soul. In this particular thing, it happens. Coming to the next verse, 116, which is in your page number 13. Next verse, he says, this is all soliloquy. It's all, he says, Nachiketa says, the 7-year-old, the highest wisdom. That's why, Vivekananda said, if I had 6 to 7 Nachiketas, I can transform the world within days. That is the type of wisdom he is having, the approach he is having it. Anupashya yata purve, pratipashya tata apare. Sasyam eva martyah, pachyate, satyam eva jayate punaha. Satyam eva ajayate punaha. This is what, exactly it says. How the forefathers have gone, in fact it is not gone, how the forefathers have behaved, how the forefathers have lived the life for the purpose for which, they have worked all through. That is towards understanding and realizing the truth and go by whatever, because the dharmic way, whatever the guidelines of life, purushartha, whatever to obtain purushartha, that what we have, the artha kama, to get moksha, everything to get that, what we have, we should get it. They have lived up to that, and they were working towards the truth. They have done, and pratipashya tata apare. The one who are going to come, they are also going to do that. The one who are before us, they are also going to do that. Pratipashya, and the one currently who are behaving, how they are behaving. How we are behaving, you just see. I think again, in Mahabharata, we'll have to go. There was a story, when a Yaksha asked a question to Yudhishthira, what is the greatest, because wonder of this world? What do you think, is something, unusual that is happening in this world? What has made it you to wonder? You only said, when you asked the question in a very, very difficult circumstances, we have narrated the story. We'll say, because when all his brothers have gone to help one of the rishis by the side, when he has lost a particular equipment, which he was using yajna, one deer has taken out, they went to the forest in search of it. When they went, they were taken long into the forest, into the darkest region of the forest. They all became one after the other. They were thirsty and they went and took a water in a pond. As soon as they took the water in the pond, and all of them died immediately. Like Nachiketa, they also left their body, cessation of the body. Finally, Yudhishthira, because after seeing none of his brothers have returned, this is during the Agyatavasa. So he goes there and finally he finds all his brothers have died. And when he was about to take the water, the same thing, the Yaksha warned these brothers. He also warned him, look, if you take this water, I think, you will also have the same fate as your brother. So at that point of time, then he says, because I will Yaksha is nothing but Yama. In that particular context, it is, he has come in the form of Yaksha to test, because he is the final authority on Dharma, to test Yudhishthira whether he gets through the entire Dharma Paripalana, because he is supposed to be doing it now, and it also giving a sort of a forecast in the Mahabharata. It is being said that he has to do Dharma Paripalana, in the sense he is likely to win the war. That forecast is there already, and that particular during Agyatavasa. So when he was asked, what is the greatest thing, which make you to wonder? He said, because everyone is living the life as if they are not going to die. They are going to live forever. That's how everyone is planning. Because I will have to build this house, I will have to make this. Next year, I will conduct the marriage of my grandson, if you are old enough, and a great grandson. That's like that ambition goes. And I will give that house to my great grandson. I will have something. I will go out, because we'll go for a world trip. Because I think they don't know at that time pandemic will be coming, you will not be able to go anywhere and all. Like all these things are there. When people are thinking they are going to live forever, but everyone knows one day they have to leave the body. This is the highest wonder in the world. So far, after listening to that only, the Yaksha who is in the form of, the Yama who is in the form of Yaksha, he said, then I will give you one boon, because since you have answered my one question, you will be able to get only one of your brothers out alive. Then he asked for Nakula, because who is Madhuri's brother, Madhuri's son, his stepmother's son. He said, for my mother, because we three, I am alive. For my stepmother, she doesn't have anyone. So you please offer him the life. After hearing that only, but then he gave the boon, all of them came alive, and because then it is also as a premonition, finally how the war is going to end, because that is there and all. It is like that, because when it happens, we are all working like this. Anupashya yatha purve, because they all knew, because they were all preparing to leave the body. Because in Kathopanishad, when we said, na sakshut gacchati, na vak gacchati, pratyasma loka amrita bhavanti, in the sense, finally the body has to go. The Sushmana Nadi, through Sushmana Nadi, the life has to live through your Sahasrara, through which the life has entered in this body. It has to go through that. You know that. But when you are acting in this life, in the Jagritasthana, Swapnasthana, and Sushuptasthana, we don't have any knowledge. We are the nescients, so we don't do anything. But when you are in Jagritasthana, we all work, because we are going to have everything, and we will have a booster dose. After booster dose, things will be okay, and I will be going around here, I will be going there, and all these things, this will keep happening. This is a human tendency and mentality. This is This is exactly the Anupashya Yatha Purve. They were all very, very realized soul. Anupashya Pratipashya Tata Pare. The ones who are, because working like this, and ones who are late and who are also going to follow entire thing, they are also doing that, because they are all trying to have a particular way of life. But how does it entire thing? Here a simile has been given in this Upanishad. The simile is unparalleled. The simile is almost been taken into Mahabharata, in Bhagavad Gita. In Mahabharata it is there, Bhagavad Gita, in one of the verses, the entire simile has been brought about, and it has been taken to the highest level. The same simile has been used. Sasyamiva Martyaha, like a cornfield, if you go, Sasyam is a corn, whatever Jowar, or whatever this you call it, it is a corn. It's a type of corn. It's not necessarily the American corn, which is we are taking it. It is any corn, which is coming out. How the corn comes, matures, and then breaks it, and the seeds fall again, and again it comes up. It is like that. We are like Khan. We get mature, we get aged. Finally, it goes off. The cessation of the physical body, form changes. The seed falls. The seed is nothing but what the Acharya said, Nichocha Bhavam Gataha. The seed is the one which is giving the quality of yours, which you are trying to realize, in this world. The seed is exactly here, nothing but the Tattvavadas, one of the greatest philosophies coming about here. Sasyam iva martyaha. So when the corn grows, matures, finally it is being used, it is boiled, you do everything and all. Finally you take the corn seeds only, and then you throw it into the field again to get the corn. So punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam, when Shankaracharya said it is the same corn. You grow, mature and fall, again you come back. So what is great, then the cycle goes on. How many cycles it goes on depends upon each one of us. So 84 lakhs species are there. You may become one of the 84 lakh species. And how many cycles? It may be thousands, hundreds, lakhs of cycles. In fact, because Vivek Chudamani Shankaracharya says we don't know, it may be crores of cycles. Durlabham Manushya Janmanam, he says it may be crores of cycles which we may be not, we are going through that. But we think, it is like this, next birth, I will become like that, I will become a Bill Gates or Steve Jobs and whatever you may think. But what are you going to do? Because your corn, your seed, that is going to do. That is where only the vasanas comes, Chetana comes. The Chetana is in your Chitta. The entire thing takes you, that guides you into the next birth. That is how the entire thing goes off. This is exactly Sasyamiva Martyaha Pachyate Sasyamiva Jayate Punaha. Ajayate Punah. Is it Ajayate Punah? Sasyamiva Ajayate Punaha, in the sense, it goes into the thing. Ajayate is being used, taken out by Srimad Acharya as Jayate Punaha, in the sense the seed goes off, because basically he wanted to bring the Jayate, he has used in the Ajayate. Ajayate, Ajay in the sense unborn. You are never born. It's only unborn is the Paramatma, the Brahman. He is the only unborn, Ajaha. That's what Ajay, when someone is named, he is unborn. He is like, because like he is always there. It is a Paramatma. It is like that. It is the Satyam Jayate Punaha, in the sense that seed quality comes into you. Whenever you come, you send seeds. Different type of corns are there. You got a jowar is there. You got, because other frost, because so many things are there. Horse gram is there. So many things are there. They are all coming in different forms. That seed quality will be different. So when it is there, why should be bothered about it? See, when the entire abode is in his mind, he's not, the point here is, he's not bothered about, because leaving the body. He knows it is a con. He said, the Sasyam Iva Matyaha. The Sasyam, it has to mature and the seeds will have to fall, it has to grow. But what he says, in the sense, where it will grow? It will go on the field where it has got the natural fertility given by the Lord. The Lord is the root. He is the substratum, if you want to call it in the Advaita philosophy. He is the one. The Lord is there, because like that, you can cut the grass. How the grass will grow? The grass will grow unless it has got the roots into the same soil. Grass doesn't have a seed. You will have to grow the grass, cut it, grow it again, and take it again, because this is a continuous cycle. It happens. So that's how, when like a corn, when like a grass, when it happens, this is the life. Why I should be bothered? He said, because I will give to the Lord Emma, because he has given me. Upon reaching Lord's abode, he found that the Emma was, because whether he is what he is going to give, he doesn't know. He doesn't expect. But what is he working on is, he has to get the highest knowledge. Why how he was able to forget, that losing the body is not very important and all, because he is very much sort of focused on getting the highest knowledge. For getting the highest knowledge, if it is required to give up this body, I am willing to give it. Because very many mantras also Upanishad where Pratyasman Loka Amrita Bhavanti, because we have seen in 2 or 3 Upanishad in Ishavashyam and Kenopanishadam, Pratyasman Loka Amrita Bhavanti, Pratya Atmat Rokat Bhavanti, because when you give up the body. So it's being interpreted when you give up the desires to live in this world. That's also being given. But actually it tells, give up the body. Because as long as the bodies are there and when you are trying to feed it, with whatever it is, it will go on giving you the propensity to go for the desires. The desire is the one finally which takes you to all sorts of a thing. And that is how desire comes. There are 3 demons in the world. Avidya, and based on the avidya is not only ignorance in the sense lack of right knowledge. That is, vidya is not there. When vidya is absent, avidya, kama and karma. How it is in this order, because karma is not, see, let us understand, karma is not undesirable thing. But avidya, based on avidya, whatever kama, what desire comes out of the avidya, that will not be the right one, because the desire will be sort of an incorrigible desire, inappropriate desire. Avidya, kama and karma. Karma is the one, the action arising out of this kama. Assuming if you have vidya, kama, once vidya is there, kama will not be there. And once you do the karma, Kurvate karmani yat pritaye sajjanaha, as in Dvadash Sastram Srimad Acharya says, you will be doing whatever is right for the people of the right mind. The righteous people, what they expect you to do, you will do only those things. That is what finally comes to that. Because it's what that prevents is avidya, kama, karma. It is called Tripundra, 3 demons they call it. That's why it is also, there is one Tripura Rahasya, one great document is there. This is for the understanding that 3 lines, in Advaita, because they are all putting 3 lines, is to control avidya, kama and karma. The 3 lines is Tripundra, that is when you put all over the body to control all the 3. They are the 3 demons. When the Shiva has done, because he annihilated, the demon in this Tripura. Tripura is these 3 demons, avidya, kama, karma. So once you face these demons and kill it, and to have this only to ward off all the 3 demons, you put the 3 Tripundra. The Tripundra, you put all over the body, and the 3, the lines of the Vibhuti which you are using. Vibhuti is also a great concept. Why, Vibhuti has been the one Vibhuti sort of a Mahatmyam also is there. Based on that, it's a very great subject, because Shankar may be knowing, he's going into this Atma Bodham and all, here it will be coming about. It is something like that. So like it has got a great meaning that. So when it is come, when you are able to give up, when you know these are all the 3 demons which are preventing you to get it, the body becomes less important. See, as long as you have the avidya and avidya you are having, you will have all sorts of, the inclination to roll around in the world and be around in the world, be merged into the world and go about it. Then, we will be like a Charavaka philosophy. Take care of the body, nothing else is matters. Take care of the body, and when body goes, let it go. And afterwards, what happens, you and me have not seen. Why do you bother about? It is exactly happens. So here, when it comes, though the entire Upanishad is supposed to be telling the eschatology in the life after death and all, it basically says how you sublimate from this bodily knowledge to the disembodied knowledge. Without body, how you will have to go? The Chetna. Satchit Ananda, when we say Sat is the highest truth. Sat. Satyameva Jayate, when we say Satyam Satyameva Jayate, Na Anritam. This is what the Mundaka Upanishad says, that Na Anritam, which we have not used conveniently, because we know Na Anritam, other than Satyam, nothing should ever have the victory. But we know it is going to have the victory. That's why we stopped at Satyameva Jayate. There's a motherhood statement we said and left it. We just left the other one which has to follow na anritam. Na anritam in the sense which is not satya, which is not the right one, should never win in this world, which we can't ensure. And we know that it will only win. That's why when you say Kali Yuga, anything can happen is na anritam. They are doing it. Satyameva Jayate is a statement. Finally, it will happen. But when it happens, you and me may not be knowing how it happens. It happens, beyond when we don't expect, in unexpected times, in unexpected ways. We have seen, when the world is facing so many things, whether there will be an end, you finally find an end. Not the way we think. It comes in a different way. The God knows how to bring it about. The Paramatma, the Brahman, the highest power. If you don't want to call, even if you are a atheist, and if you want to call the power, which beyond us, how it knows how to bring about. He brings about it. This is exactly, because this wonderful thing, it talks about. And when we are talking about, the anupashya yatha purve pratipashya tatha pare, sasyamiva mrityaha puchyate sasyamiva satyamiva na ajayate punaha, because we have said it. See, in this same thing, this entire, because these entire principles are available across in all scriptures in all the world. For instance, in Tamil, we have got something called Thirumandiram. It's considered to be one of the highest philosophical scriptures ever to have been written, because by Thirumular, he is considered to be, even, there is a mystery, behind his birth, behind his living and all those things. And those who are familiar with the language and those who have seen, across the world, and even a lot of people abroad has taken later, a lot of dissertations and a lot of research has gone into it. He has said the same thing in a different way. So it is like, he says, it is like two, because two mud vessels. When you see the mud vessel, you go on holding water, and you go on holding so many other good things. Even, if it is something like that elixir also, you fold it. But finally, when the mud vessel, when it doesn't have any control, finally the water falls from the heaven, because when there is a heavy rain, the mud vessel finally breaks into become a mud once again. That is the nature of it. There is no difference between that. Sasyameva, exactly, the same what he has given. In Thirumandiram, he says, Manvondru kandir iruvai patiram thinnandru irundadu thivinai சேர்ந்தது. Manvondru kandir iruvai patiram. So two vessels made of mud. So it is called mricha katikam, it's made of mricha. It is based on vessel, because like anyone who makes it in those days, that was the only vessel that's being used in the household also. You makes it, it has got a life. If there is a flood and if there is a water, it becomes once again a mud. It is like that. Manvondru kandir iruvai patiram thinnandru irundadu thivinai சேர்ந்தது. So when the vessel is there, all unwanted things accumulate in that. And accumulating, that is a life. When the two mud parts, which has been created, who has created? The one who has created out of the mud. The mud was also created by him. He is the substratum for anything. Finally, when you get into all these, the worldly affairs, you become into Thivinai Serndad. Thinnand irundadu. It was very strong. Thinnand irundadu, Thivinai Serndadu. Vinnendu neer vilimeen mannanal pol. Vinnendu neer vilimeen male pol. Because when the water comes, it becomes again mannanal pol. Once again, it becomes the mud. Yennindri mandari rekkintra vare. Same thing it says. It is exactly the same. Sasyamiva matyaha puchyate. Sasyamiva bina jayate punaha. Exactly the same simile he has used it and he has given it. It's the same thing like it. After all, because the same has been taken into the Gita, because most of you are in Gita, the chapter 2, the number 27 is the mantra. Most of you, might have gone through your Gita classes who are attending that. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityurdhvam janma mrityasya cha tasmat apariharya arte natvam sochtamit arhasi. Because it's like that. It comes and goes off, because one it has got the birth, You'll have to necessarily have the death, that is this entire body, through which, you'll have to work on this. This is a 227, because the second chapter only, Krishna starts giving, the entire, the advice to Arjuna, right? It starts from the second chapter, the third stanza onwards, second chapter 11 onwards, he starts giving the advice. Before that, he chides him, like a child. He says, you are thinking all this time, like all of us, what we are thinking, how the body will go, how how Nachiketa could have reached Yama and all. It has got a philosophical import. When we are thinking at our level, because even somewhere, they have asked, has he was there an euthanasia or was he committed suicide? All those questions, normally people do ask, when you are going through the Upanishad. The Upanishad, it doesn't go with all these things. It goes into the highest level. This is exactly that we have to come out of our mindset. That's exactly what Krishna has said. Kutasva kashmalam vidam vishame samupasthitam. Where the gutters have come into your mind. You will have to have Ganges flowing into your mind. You can't have the gutters come into your mind. That is exactly avidya work. When the Ganges comes, avidya goes. When the gutter comes, avidya is there. Avidya kama karma. The theme that goes off. When he goes off, and he is, by virtue of this, his determination, even if his father was feeling a little bit, in a sort of fit of anger, I have given him this. In fact, this comes in Mahabharata, Anushasana Parva, in the same thing is being narrated. He just hold on to his body and cries. What a mistake I have done. I have told him like that. This fellow has taken it, to the hilt, and he has left the body, and he cries. Then what happens? He is reaching the Yama. He is he has gone to Yama's place. He has just reached it. And the father is still holding, and he is repenting his mistake. But he said, Yajna fire is still on. You have told me everything. I will maintain integrity to my word and for your benefit. And I will do that, and I will go. So when he goes in 1.1.7, you've got the mantra, Lord Yama instruction on hospitality, that is what you will be seeing it. Vaishvanaraha pravishatyati iti brahmano grihan. Vaishvanaraha pravishati, he enters. Pravishati is like Vivishti iti Vishnu, what he said, he enters, every one of us is in the Hritaya Akasha. When he is there, it is like that, he enters into the house of the Vaishvanaraha pravishyati. Because pravishati, when he says, one who comes unannounced. It is not, someone comes, write a letter and give you a WhatsApp message. Look, I am coming by 10 o'clock, tomorrow. My flight is arriving by 8 o'clock, I will take a cab and I will reach. It's not that. That is Titi. The man who comes, announcing, that he is coming, and he is a Titi. He is Atiti. He comes unannounced. Atiti is the one who comes without telling you anything, suddenly lands up in your place. You don't know, you don't expect it. Nowadays, if someone comes, because if the bell rings, I think if we don't know, no one was expected to come, no one will open the door. And if someone is coming, no, I think we don't know and all. Even if he says, I'm so and so and all, he's coming from your village and he is known to your grandfather, his grandfather, and they are great friends and all. You will not be willing to listen. Come along, because there are so many friends to my grandfather, I don't know. And that's all, because I think if you want to see this particular thing, I am just reminded of one very good Kannada movie which recently came. The name of the movie is Ikkat. I think if some of you happen to see that movie, you will really enjoy that. The similar scenes come into that movie and all. Ikkat is a very young husband and wife who get married. They start their life during this pandemic lockdown, how they face their life. It is a very wonderful Kannada movie. It is like, it happens like that, because someone tries to come, you don't know, in the pandemic, you will not allow anyone inside the house. Because you yourself don't go out. So the lockdown is there. It is type of a situation like that. But here is Atiti. See, the Atiti Devo Bhava, why in our Sanatana Dharma it says is, when something has to be given, when something, you have to be given the right advice, the right direction, when you have to be shown the right way, when you are about to be, because confused, confounded, and you are likely to slip into a wrong way, when you have to be taken, for that, something happens. It comes as an intuition, not always in the thought. You may, be going in a train, you may be traveling somewhere, some unknown persons will come. When you just start talking to him, he may have, because then you will come, he also going for something, similar to your problem, and he had some problem or he got it solved. Then you talk to him, you may find a solution to that. Unknown, because you are meeting, someone comes to your house. In those days, it used to happen. Because normally in our villages, both my parental villages, both my mothers and fathers, they never used to, the food used to be served till 11:30, 12 o'clock. Because we are in a village, the first vehicle, the bus, started coming to my parental village in 1964 only. Till then, we have to take a bullock cart from a nearby Mofassil town. We will have to go by that bullock cart to our village, and then only, because unless, my uncles or someone, or they will send someone, and we are not used to bullock cart, and they will advise, you sit on this side, you will have to balance the bullock cart, and we will have to go there. And finally, we will be there, and finally, your return will also depending upon when the bus will be available, the day, and then when your bullock cart will be done well, 2 hours ahead of schedule, 3 hours, so that you can reach the 5 kilometers distance. You will have to cover and all those things. It was in those days like that. So they used to wait up to 11:30, 12, because some unknown guest, some government official, maybe he may not be able to take food anywhere. Or that is, in those days there was no hotels, restaurants in a small village. They used to wait for someone who has to come, who may be coming, and after seeing the last bus has gone, when they know, last bus goes by this time, after that only food will be served. So in my mother's village also same thing. Yeah, my grandfather used to wait because he was in the sort of a village officer, village munsif. So he knows, some people, they will land up at they might be coming, from another village at the odd time, because they may not be having any food, they will have to take the food. That's what, because they are all unannounced guests. You don't know when they will be coming, and sometimes the person, who is to come for to see someone, because they may not be there in the house. So then they don't know, then they will say, because you can go to some Brahmins will come, they will not take food in some other house. They will be directed, you can go to their house, because they are also Brahmin. I think, you may get the type of food, and you may like, they will send it. So in order to see, some people will be coming, we have to wait. Atithi Devo Bhava. We used to wait and take it. Nowadays, I think you don't wait for even a person of your own house to come and all, because अरे भाई हमारा अभी time हो गया. I have taken medicine. I will have to take. You will have hundreds of things. Otherwise, I will have to go out. My serial is coming in TV, or I will have to watch IPL. You will be taking. You will not be waiting for your own spouse or your own sons or children. Or see, it has become a because it is just, it will all be appearing to be some sort of a story, for the current people. We have seen, we were fortunate enough to see these things in our lifetime. So we are sharing that. This Atithi is so important. And very often when the Atithi comes, a lot of time it has happened. They used to bring a message, because suppose it has happened like this. In our village only, a person was looking for a good match for his daughter. He was not getting it, and he was very particular about, the astrology and this match, that match and all. He was not knowing. But suddenly one gentleman who came to visit my grandfather, he also took him, because after his food and all was over, and he was to go somewhere, he accompanied him and he took him to this gentleman's house. He said, and I'm looking at, then he said, look, my brother's son is there. What is that? There itself they saw, and I think next day they fixed up. See, these are all atithis, can give you those type of, the God sends them like that. When you are not expecting someone, it comes and it happens like that. When you don't expect, you get a clue. Even in your own professional life, when you don't know how am I to get, you finally get some guidance from unknown professionals. You are being directed, or you happen to meet him, or someone asks him to meet him, or someone is brought to, I think, in your sort of arena, and then you have the occasion to do, you get things done. These are all happens not by a coincidence of something and all. It is the coincidence of your own chetna, your own tapas. your own sincerity of what you are performing. So therefore, it is Atithi when it comes, when he has come. And Vaishvanaraha Pravishyati Brahmano, because Brahmano in the sense, not that Brahman in the sense, I think Chinmayananda used to say, this is the biggest advertisement for Brahmins and all. It is not exactly for Brahmins as it is. The Brahmins, just by having this 5 rupee worth of the thread across your body doesn't make you Brahmin. The Brahmin who has gone beyond, because in your thoughts, you like Nachiketa when you have gone beyond about that, because you have got to the highest, you don't have any avidya, kama and karma when it is there. That is Brahmana. That Brahmana is talking about, not only by having this particular thing and displaying, I am a Brahmin. That's not there. Pravishyatiti Brahmana Grihan when he comes. See, in Atithi, when we say, when he comes to the house, how it is there, it's like Agni. How is Agni? Because normally he comes, because in those days when he comes, because normally they would not take breakfast, munching lays and biscuits and chips and all those things. They never used to take. They used to carry some, they might have taken some cup of coffee or something like that. Even the breakfast was not taken in those days. They used to take the food only. When he comes, because he is his entire stomach, because his liver is, I think, is just glowing with the Agni, that, it is there. That Agni is there. Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana, that Agni is there. And he is also sort of, when he comes, when these people come, they always come with a message, or they come with some good direction, or some good advice, or they come with something for your help. So Pravishati, when he comes, they are like Agni. So why Agni is being invoked is there. The very first mantra of Rig Veda is Agni. Agni, because that is what, the entire Rig Veda starts with Agni invocation. The Agni is the one who gets his entire power in the highest Brahman. So it is denoting the highest Brahman, that Agni is the Hari. When he comes someone into our house, he is nothing but Brahman. It is that Brahmin, not the one with the thread and displaying, all these your marks, whatever marks you belong to, whether it is Tripundra or this Udvapundra and all, because it doesn't matter, because you may display all those things. But you have got to be a Brahmin. In the sense, you come with a great message. Vaishvanaraha Pravishyati the Brahmano Grihana Tasyetang Shantim Kurvanti. Because he comes with so many Agnis. He wants to give you, that is Agni. He has to give you something, he wants to come with a message. He wants to give, is a guide, divine guide sent by the Brahman. But if you are not able to get, that is, he comes with so many Agnis. His own, because Agni which is there, and he is also denoting, he's like a Brahman, who was given the power. The Brahman has given the power and sent you for some great work, for great message. If you don't take it, Shantim Kurvanti. Shantim Kurvanti, in the sense, you will have to assuage. Normally in those days, when Atithi comes, you will have to do all those things. Achamana, then you will have to give Vadyam, and you will have to wash his his feet, and then you will have to make him comfortable. First, then you will have to offer him some water and all. And then, you will have to give, whatever food, because which is ready, and when he wants it, you take everything. Slowly it went off, and afterwards in the villages, what we did, because we had the vessel full of water in front of the house. Anyone who comes to the house first will have to wash his hands and wash his feet. There used to be 2 vessels, one for washing hands, but the same vessel you will not be washing the feet. Both were there. Okay, in my lifetime also I have seen it was there. So after taking that, they will come, and there will be a towel which will be offered. They will come inside, and they will be given, because the politely you will be offering, something. If it is a summer, you will be offering some cold water. The offering the water has not gone off, in our everyday life as it is. You find only in North India, the culture is there. Even if you go to a government office, where you are not a willing customer, even if you go, there is someone offers you water. First, in summer you go, Any government office anywhere in North India or any other establishment you go, first they will offer you water and they will ask, would you like to have tea? Whereas in southern parts of India, I think maybe all the four states put together, that culture has gone off. I don't think even if you go to your house also, even unknown person's house, and that culture is, unless he asks, can I have some water, then we are offering. On our own, no one is asking. But if you go to south, even in Punjab, Haryana, you go, first thing is a glass of, and if you go at the height of summer, you may be going into the wrong office. You may not be knowing, because that is the right office. In spite of it, some guy will come and ask you to sit and give you a glass of water, and then he will say any time of the day, like to have some tea, because that was a courtesy offering. That is somehow been, still be there in North, and because that is how the culture has come about, and we don't have it. It was the culture. And Shantim Kurvanti, Hara Vaivashodakam. Vaivashodakam, in the sense, Vaivasha is the son of Yama is the son of Vaivashva. Vaivashva is the Surya. Another name of Surya is sun god is Vaivashva. Vaivashvata Manvantara, it's also Manvantara is there. So he is the son of Surya, and he is having the same resplendent tejas and resplendent. He does everything, as per the dharma what is to be done. Yama is the son of Surya. Vaivashvata. Vaivashvata, because when he is the son of Surya, Udakam, he wants to offer Udakam in Padotakam when we say. When we say Padotakam, when we say, some Acharya comes, we do the Pada Puja, and finally we do it. Even this Raghavendra Swami will say Padodakam, when we take it, they spread it on our head and we all take it. It all happens, all the temples, Shiva temple, because Pradosham, you see the Padodakam is there, whatever is being done. That gives, it carries the energy, it carries the full energy, the blissful energy. All negativity it takes care of. And it also makes you disease free. And it has got such a power, though we take that Padodakam, he takes it. Vishwanaraha, when he is taking that, this is exactly how he has to be treated. But then, Vishwanaraha pravishyati grihano gruhan tasmatidek shantim kurvanti hara vaivashvata utakam. He should have been done. Nachiketa went to the residence of Yama, but Yama was not supposed to have been there. In all the explanation, they will say Yama has got somewhere and all. Yama doesn't have to go anywhere. The Dharmaraja, he has to be there in the place only. But he was Adrishya. Since he is a Yama, he is a Dharmaraja. When you go to a sort of, the Guru will not immediately entertain you. He will first, you will have to wait. And first you will feel what type of a Guru. I have come and I have come all the way. I have booked my ticket and came and here and I'm waiting. I just wanted to meet him. He is not giving me appointment. He will not give appointment to you. Because he wants to know how interested you are. It is not a fast food. You come here and you want to get a knowledge, get in, and he tells you, and you say yes, bye-bye, and goes up. It is not like that. You will have to dedicate yourself, surrender yourself to Guru. Then only, you will be able to give the entire knowledge. So most of the bhashyas will say, because whereas it has been given a different intonation, by the different acharyas, particularly Madhvacharya and Raghavendra Swami, they have given. When you have come here, you will have to get the knowledge, because he was not available. He was not shown to, he was not in your visibility. So what happens? The next alternative, his wife comes and asks him, will you like to take something and all? He said, I don't want anything. Nachiketa says, I don't want anything. Then is it that he is arrogant and he only, because the Lord of the place only should come and give him something and all? Not that. The purpose for his come is knowledge. The knowledge is only with Yama. He doesn't need anything, he doesn't want, all this water, this, that and all, because his Agni is towards the knowledge. He has got the avidya, he got the knowledge. Trishna Vichetavat, as we have seen in Isavasha Upanishad. He has got the thirst for knowledge. He wants to quench his thirst. Shantim in the sense the knowledge thirst. He wants to get it. He wants to get it from the master. He wants to get it from the horse's mouth. Yama is the final authority on dharma. He has to give it. He waits for that. That is why he says, because he says, because it is of no use to him in the sense he doesn't want anything nor he expects anything. Because if he expects, he will not be fit enough for the knowledge. Unless you give up the desire, then only you will be fit enough. He has given up all the desires. He said, I will leave my body, don't want to this entire worldly life. I am going there. When he said he has already left everything, he doesn't have anything to further to long for. He says, I will wait. Let Yama comes. Till then, let me wait here. This is what he says. In this mantra itself, we will have to give see a lot of philosophical inputs, and we will also be seeing how the other scriptures are also brought in. And it is not the apparent meaning. Upanishad, if you simply read word by word, it will never give you the apparent meaning, what you will be looking for and all. It is, we will have to go inside. Likewise, because when we are seeing with our avidya, kama and karma. So avidya, kama and karma, we will have to leave aside, slowly come into the higher stage, then only the Upanishad opens up and tells us. The secret, eternal wisdom doesn't come just like that. It has to be, we will have to make effort. We will have to persevere. We will have to totally be dedicated. Then it comes. So with this, we are, I think because of the time, we will not go into the further explanation of this particular mantra. Because next 2-3 mantras, we will have to take a lot of time to get into the port of it. And we will conclude today's proceedings for this, with this particular explanation. And we will see how it takes us, how we will be also leaving our avidya and kama karma next week onwards. With this, I will conclude. And we will be having a meditation, and a small meditation I have already lined up. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau punaktu, sahaviryam karavavahaihi, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vishvidavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In a minute, just I will put the other one on for the meditation.